Welcome. Thanks for joining us for our second installment of Scribbles Stories Journey. We know many of you are on spring break or dreaming of spring, so wherever you are on that spring break spectrum, we hope you're well. Today, we're going to talk with Amber from St. Vrain Valley Schools in Colorado. She's going to take us through their Scribbles journey. Throughout the presentation, there's some really interesting facts on the bottom, so check those out. Some of them are specific to St. Vrain Valley Schools, and some of them are just really fun facts. I'd like to let you know that this recording is that we are recording the webinar, and it will be posted on our YouTube channel as always. So let's go ahead and get started. Amber, thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Great. I have a few questions for you, so we'll go ahead and get started. So tell us about St. Vrain Valley Schools and your role there.
Okay. St. Vrain is, we're home to 33,000 students, or just a little more than that. As you have on the slide, we're the 7th largest school district in Colorado. We operate 60 schools and programs, and we actually cover 411 square miles. So we're spread everywhere from Lyons to Erie, Meade, if anybody's familiar with the state. And we're basically, we're a growing district, and for the most part, our academic trends are headed in a positive direction. So
that's great. So you said you cover more than just your district.
No, our district covers 8 different towns and counties.
Okay.
So we are just spread out over 411 square miles, which is typically a larger geographic section for a district.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't have students going from one end of the district to the other, because they'd have to cross over so many different cities. Or do you have students that do that?
Well, sure. We are a big school choice district. That's the reason for Scribbles. And so we do have students that travel from, anywhere, potentially Meade, driving to Longmont, 20 miles maybe. We have all kinds of different situations for students like that.
All right. Well, yeah, let's get into that a little bit more. So on your website, it states that we are providing current and future generations a strong competitive advantage so that all students can achieve success in a globalized world. Can you share more about how St. Vrain Valley Schools is doing that?
Yeah, our role here is, I'm the student data manager, and we're in the records department. So we oversee state reporting, record management, enrollment, and school choice. I have a hard time figuring out how we, as a department, support that statement. But what I will say to that, what the district is doing that truly supports that statement is we have expanded our partnerships in this district with corporate and nonprofit companies to over 120 organizations, and they provide internships and learning opportunities and resources that really enhance the student opportunity and engagement here. For instance, we launched the Innovation Academy in 2010 in partnership with IBM. So we're providing elementary students learning experiences utilizing design thinking to engineer solutions to global challenges that are present all over our globe. So that's probably the best way to describe what we're doing in St. Vrain, partnering with different organizations. There's a ton of other stuff on our website as far as we have focus schools, we have aerospace and engineering, biomedical sciences, business, energy, all kinds of different focus schools. We have a learning technology plan that provides students a device to every student in the district. We have the Innovation Center, which we opened in 2012, and there's focuses there in aeronautics and bioscience. So just really cool things going on in the district with that focus of achieving success
Yeah.
worldwide.
I mean, that
So,
sounds that sounds amazing. That's wonderful that your school district has that many opportunities and avenues for students. But I want to go back to when you said, I don't know necessarily how we, are helping with that, but you really are, because your department is responsible for that kind of like the family engagement piece of that, letting families know what you have available and having an application that's online that breaks down any barriers that families may have with printing out papers and having to fax them or mail them. Or I mean, I think just taking the approach that you have and understanding where families are at and keeping things organized within a system so that kids can travel 20 miles away from their home. I think that's a huge step in the right direction and helping that statement become true.
yeah, well, you're exactly right. I mean, with focus schools, like I mentioned, and different opportunities that may not be at every single school, allowing for school choice in St. Vrain is the first step to, equitable opportunities for all students. And so our office is, and by implementing Scribbles, we allow for a really streamlined way to choice into those opportunities.
Good. Okay, good. Because I think you are a way bigger part of that than you probably even realize.
I think when you work in a district, you start to feel like there's a business side and there's a learning side. But yeah, when you can bring the two together, that's definitely a definition of success.
Absolutely. So, how were you first introduced to Scribbles?
So actually, originally we signed on with ScribOrder for electronic processing of transcripts. I think we did that in 2014, and it was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, you guys, Scribbles made it so easy to process these transcripts electronically, and we were doing everything by paper, on paper at that point. We were mailing transcripts out constantly. And so when you guys offered that up, and honestly, there was really no cost to us, and so it just was a no-brainer to go that way. And then in 2019, we were in the market for a school choice open enrollment tool, and we actually went to an RFP, but ScribChoice was awarded the contract. Just kind of blew the competition away. So.
Aw. That's great to hear. And I love how you said ScribOrder is a no-brainer. I didn't know about, I had used ScribChoice at the district I was at, and I didn't really understand what ScribOrder was. And I thought, when I learned about it, when I came to the company, I was like, why aren't people using this? This is, yeah, it doesn't, you're right. It's a total no-brainer. What do you do, or how do you use ScribChoice? Because you said open enrollment. Kind of explain what that means and like some of the unique ways that you use ScribChoice.
Yeah, so mainly ScribChoice serves as our open enrollment application process, which allows families to apply to go to a school outside of their boundary school. So again, we're spread out over 411 miles. Clearly there's boundaries for each school. We serve 8 high schools. Off the top of it's 52 buildings basically. So each school is designated a boundary. If a parent wants to choice into another school, they just have to apply. And so that's how ScribChoice serves its purpose for us. We allow families to apply for the upcoming school year starting in December 1. We outline a timeline in our policy. And even with that timeline, we actually never close open enrollment. We always allow families to choice into another school. And then we allow for a few special considerations. For instance, if a family already has a student approved on open enrollment, they're automatically accepted with that second child. So to address that, actually, we worked with Scribbles to create a queue for applications that answered yes to a certain question. So we ask families, do you already have a student that's approved on open enrollment? And if they say yes, those are routed to a queue for verification. And those applications are approved by the registrars in the buildings. Upon verification and approval of that answer, once they click yes, then those are routed to the principal for approval. And all of our principals approve their own applications. Our office supports that by helping families, and we work with school staff, and then we work with Scribbles if we need any changes implemented to that application. In 2020, we created an online school for students that were opting out of the brick and mortar school due to COVID. And ScribChoice was instrumental in making an application process for those families that wanted to apply to our online school. And that was like, we were so lucky that we had a relationship with Scribbles because our account manager was so amazing at making that happen, like in a crazy time, as everybody knows, with really quick turnaround. So now we use ScribChoice for that application as well. And then most recently, we're implementing an application process for our transportation department. And Scribbles has worked with us to build an application for parents that need to apply for busing. Because what we used to do was basically offer the bus to everyone, whether there was someone at that stop or not. And so now we're in a position where parents actually have to ask for busing. And so Scribbles has been instrumental in that process. So.
Wow. So in your transportation, is it public transportation or is it school? It's designated by the school?
A school bus.
Okay.
Designated by schools. Yep.
Great. Okay. Wow. So you have used ScribChoice in a lot of very creative ways, which is
and more people continue to ask how we can, how can we expand it? How can we use it? And having multiple applications within the tool has really allowed our school staff to learn it. And then they're a good support to our families because now they're starting to understand Scribbles, as a whole.
Yeah. And it's great that you have a partner in this work for sure. And when you come to us and you share these unique situations, it really helps our team as well, keeping the software robust and keeping up with, the current trends in education. So if anybody out there has ideas or, ways that they're using it that are kind of unique, let us know for sure. Because that just helps us become a better team and a better product. So what did you do before ScribChoice?
Open enrollment was handled on.
Okay.
Yeah, it was paper. It was all paper. Prior to going to an RFP, we did attempt 1 year on a Google form. And that really helped us get our heads around what we wanted and what was absolutely necessary in an online application. So that just helped the RFP process go really smoothly. And like I said, Scribbles kind of stood out among that process. So.
Great. So how did your staff react to using a new program? So you went from Google, like a Google Sheets or a Google form, and then they started using the software. How did they react to that? And what would you, and how is it now compared from when you started?
I mean, we obviously had a wide range of reactions. We're dealing with 52 buildings, schools, and different levels of comfort in the staff. But for the most part, our staff knew that we needed an updated method. I always talk about the fact that we have a really innovative message that the district is trying to convey, and we have innovation and technical opportunities for students. But here we were still handling a really important process on paper. And so I think our staff knew that we needed to upgrade how we were handling that. The transition is always a little bit tricky, but we offered extensive training, and between us and Scribbles, the support was really comprehensive, and our staff have really come to appreciate the product. I mean, I'm told all the time, I love this, it's so much better, this is great, it's so easy. So, the staff was as on board as you can get, I think, and then they just really love it now.
Terrific. So what would you share with another district that's considering Scribbles?
Our experience with Scribbles has been so positive from the very beginning, 7 years ago. You guys understand innovation and you're open to improvement of processes, and you guys have been willing to work with us to make things better. Even when we come to you with ideas that seem kind of new and daunting and maybe outside of the scope of what you guys started to do, like transportation, for instance. I mean, we came to our project manager with that and he was like, yeah, I mean, let's try it, right? And we've overcome some real challenges with your help. So, and I feel like we're a team with Scribbles. That's what I would probably say to anyone asking, is I really feel like they're part of our team.
That is so awesome to hear. Thanks, Amber. This was
Yeah.
so helpful. We really appreciate your time, your expertise, and your partnership. Thanks for sharing your Scribble story with us today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.